Hi, this is Amir Anzour, Chief Marketing Officer at Pakistan Software Export Board, where we run the brand Tech Destination Pakistan. And we have a really special guest, Paul Verge, who's right now in Ontario, Canada, but he's just spent the last 6 months out in Pakistan. And he has a company that's been running 2.5 years, hiring talent specifically from Pakistan. And his LinkedIn posts have been blowing up recently with all the experience that he's sharing working with people from Pakistan. And so we'd like to get first your background, Paul. How did you get involved with the Pakistani tech scene?
Yeah, so back in, I think it was 2022, 2023, I was working for a marketing company as finance, and I was living in a house with a bunch of other guys. And one of the other guys was named Hamza, and he is originally from Pakistan, but he flew over to Canada to like go to Seneca College to get his degree in finance and eventually work at a bank. So we were just kind of sitting around, and we really badly wanted to start a business. So we actually ended up starting a marketing company called Vibe Media at first. And the goal was to get clients in Canada, but offload, or not offload, but get the work done in Pakistan, just because my business partner had a lot of good connections over there. And our third business partner now, Daniel, who's our head of operations over there, he was just an incredible businessman, an incredible human. So he really knew how it all works, how to hire the right people. He's really highly emotionally intelligent. So after that, we went more into hiring. A lot of people would hire specifically us to do marketing because we were unproven. But if we had the credentials of the specific person who's really good at email marketing, video editing, then that actually would add more credibility, and we were able to give people opportunities from Pakistan to Canada. So it started out like that, a lot of marketing roles, email marketing, video editing, design, and then it kind of evolved more into customer support. And then we started doing more dev work, like full end developers, back end developers, DevOps, engineers, like all that kind of thing. And so now our specialty is we're building teams as well as doing individual hires within Pakistan. And we have an office in downtown Lahore on Allen Road where we have everyone come in and work.
Wow. And what do you think is different about Pakistan? What's the talent like you visited? And is it different or is every part of the world the same with talent?
I would say there's a couple of things that I've noticed that are different. And just bear in mind, take this with a grain of salt, obviously. This isn't a representation of all Canadians, all Americans, or all Pakistanis. But from what I understand, by living in Canada and by living in Pakistan, I found that the value structure is a little bit different. So in the West, it's very much more focused on like the rights of the individual, the life of the individual. The way our society is kind of structured right now is that you do what's best for you. Um, you don't really live with your parents for that long. Like you move out as soon as you possibly can, and there's no more support from them. You're not really like taking care of your brother or sister, so it's much more like, and there are people still get together, people still have families, but I would say it's a little bit more disconnected. So, and what I find is that if once it's a little bit more disconnected, people are generally their values of work are like also a little bit different. So it's not so much more about security, taking care of my family, making sure everyone has a good life. It's like, oh, I want a good life. I want to support my wife. I mean, Pakistan does that too, but I want a car. I want all these kinds of things. So I found the first difference is like in Pakistan, people have their values a little bit more like everyone shares values are very clear. It's about family. It's about taking care of your children. It's about taking care of your brothers and your sisters. And then what I found is that value tends to translate to more dedication and more like willing to go after it than certain people in states in Canada. And that, again, that's not true. I've met people in Canada who are extremely disciplined, extremely hardworking, know exactly what it is. But in general, what I found is because the culture is a bit more family structured and orientated, people do value work And they don't just do work as a means of survival, it's a means of like providing for their family. And I find that they tend to put more of their heart and soul into it.
Wow. And you are running Talent Trellis. What did you think about visiting Pakistan for the first time? Was it the first time that you just spent your last
Yeah.
months? How did
Yeah.
you feel about? I mean, for me, I lived in the West and come back here, but it's like a coffee shop is a coffee shop. Like a lot of similarities. What did you think as an outsider coming in, visiting the historical city of Lahore, and then I think you've been to Islamabad as well.
Well, at first, like I didn't show it. I didn't tell my parents or anyone, but like I was obviously a little bit nervous, right? Because uh I knew from my partners what Pakistan was like, but there's also like certain things, just like certain perceptions you have of things that you hear, and you start to form your own little opinion of it. So at first, I was a little bit uneasy, and then I was telling my friends, "Hey, I'm going to Pakistan." They're like, "Why are you going there? Like, why would you possibly want to go there?" But I was up for the adventure. My business partners told me all about it, so I wasn't really too scared. So when I first came there, right, I landed in Lahore. It was winter, so it wasn't very hot. Luckily, it was like more the winter time. So when I first landed, there was a lot of people. They're all greeting each other. They're all waiting there. So I thought that was it was very similar, right? Like that's very similar to everywhere else. But I found that the whole vibe was like obviously a little bit different than that of Canada. Even I even found like the airplane food on PIA, like it was really good. The food was much better. But when I first came, I guess like I didn't really. The only thing that was really like that different to me personally was the architecture. Like the architecture, like Lahore is a very big city, and it's much more like the architecture is a little bit more mix of like modern and Middle East. So I found that to be pretty interesting. But like other than that, I didn't really feel too far from home or too out of home, right? Like they're like there's coffee shops everywhere, and they have like very cool, rustic, unique feelings, just like you have like in Canada or the US. There's large grocery stores with all the food that you want. Some of the food is like even fresher. The food is absolutely amazing. That's another thing I love. Like the food everywhere I went was really great. And even though I couldn't really speak as much Urdu, people were very friendly to me. They helped me out where they could. They spoke, so they were very hospitable to me, even though like I'm the only one there. The other difference is like the amount of bikes that there were. That really shocked me. Like so there's a lot more people on like motorcycles than I've ever seen in Canada. So I thought that was cool. But in terms of like work and culture, I actually like the the way that they work in Pakistan a little bit different, a little bit more than the way in Canada. And what I mean by that is like obviously a lot of people that work in Pakistan, they work in the EST time zone, right? So I'm used to in Canada getting up at like 6 a.m., doing my workouts, stretching, and then getting to work at 9 to 5, and then doing some gym afterwards. But I really liked in Pakistan how because we work on the EST time zone, we would kind of you would wake up maybe around 11, 12 because you were working late. And then you have a few hours to kind of go eat, work out, do your things in the morning. And then around between 4 to 5 p.m. That's when I would settle in, get to work hard from like 5 to 12, 5 to 1, 5 to 2, and then go back and do that over again. So I personally, as a night owl, I really liked that cycle much better just because there was more time to do things really. Like especially in the morning when you're not as tired. Yeah. So that was kind of my general experience of Pakistan. It's very beautiful in the north like that. I was absolutely shocked by that, how beautiful it is up there. The weather was very kind to me, thankfully. Yeah.
And how did you find working with the local talent? What are pros and cons of hiring talent here in Pakistan? Is it because now on the internet everyone can get access to the same knowledge? There's still got the same hunger, and there's a lot of youth here. Or what did you think about it?
Yeah. So I did like that like 64% of the population or a good number is like under 30. So there's a very good young working age population, especially because like it's the exact opposite in the West. In the West, we have a lot more of an aging population, and not enough people are supplementing with birth rates to be able to keep up with that. So that was one thing. The other thing is I've worked with at first, when I first started the business, I was also like, I was very skeptical of Pakistani talent. Like, I was like, first of all, they're not going to understand the language. They're not going to understand my cultural things. I'm going to have to talk to them 100 times. It's going to be like, what if the internet goes out? And so, like, even in my head, before I even thought about it, like, these are all the things running in my head, right? And these are all barriers that people have had to come with. And what I've learned is, in terms of English, almost like a good percentage, I would say more than half the population is fluent in English. I would say probably maybe 60% or more from my experience. There are definitely people who are very fluent, absolutely no accent. You can understand them very, very clearly. And there's obviously some people who, like, you can understand them, but their accent isn't the greatest. Like, it's a little bit harder. So really, there's such a big diversity of talent, especially because a lot of people from Pakistan, there's still a lot of like educational institutions that teach English as a second language, especially in Lahore. And I know that other people have also moved to the UK. So it's like the English and the communication, I didn't really have a problem with that for the roles that I was hiring for. In terms of work ethic, I think that from the people that I've worked with, I've always had like a very solid work ethic from them. But I don't know, like that could just simply be the fact that like there's a lot of different there's a lot of different steps we go through in our interview process, and there's a lot of little tests that we give out just to make sure like the person is who they say that they are. So I don't the work ethic, what I found was absolutely amazing. And I know like some people from my post on LinkedIn, like I made a post about this one time it was during the first Eid. I think it was like March 30th. Anyways, we had a client of ours that unfortunately had this big, big project for a big, big name brand. And we had to get it done before Eid, right? And and they didn't. And so my current my development team at the time, obviously they like it was Eid. I didn't want to ask to make them work. It was a big project, so I asked them like, "Hey guys, listen, like I understand that it's Eid, and if you cannot work, if there's no chance you can spare, I totally understand. Um, this is the situation. I will go on Fiverr. I will find a solution, right? But and they had every right, and I wouldn't have been mad at them. I would have kept using them. Like there would be no bad blood. I totally get it. It's like Christmas for us. But what really shocked me was they didn't complain. They didn't say anything. They said, you know what? If this needs to get done, this needs to get done. And I remember I was up with them for 12 hours straight. It was from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. We were going through and making everything work individually. And, that really showed me that like, because no one in the best, no, if you asked anyone to give up their Christmas, I would doubt you would get that kind of commitment. So I found that very inspiring, especially because they didn't have to, right? So I found like if you find good people and you have a good vision, then there's talent everywhere, right? So that's kind of what I found. I found you can find people with good English. You can test internet connections. Um, you can have an office and infrastructure where people work in, so that doesn't. So if there ever is a blackout, it's good to go. And then I think it's good to also just have someone on the ground too, because what I've noticed that in general remote work, I personally find isn't that effective, whether that be in Pakistan or in Canada. And what I mean by that is, I think that there needs to be a bit of a hybrid because I think, like, if you're sitting at home too much and you're working from the laptop all the time, you have the bed over there, like, it's very easy to kind of drift. So, but I think that's everywhere. That has nothing to do with Pakistan or Canada. So I think that having a couple of things would like really helps you use people to their fullest and have people reach their potential. And one of them is like providing a good environment with people so they can socialize. They enjoy coming to work, but also offering a bit of that hybrid model that they can work from home if they need to as well, right? A lot of people have families. And then, and the last thing I found is like the work ethic is good, is a lot better because every time I ask someone like, hey, why are you working so hard? What do you want? And they're always saying it's for my family. I do want to do better for them. It's for my wife. I really want to increase their stature and their standing. So I find that the values, the motivation really shines through.
Awesome. And what's your plans for Talent Trellis, your company? What do you want to achieve with it? You specifically targeting Pakistani talent, and your audience, your clients are in Europe and the US and Canada, etc., right?
Yeah. So what I would like to do is, so basically what Talent Trials does is we build teams and do staff augmentation for companies US, Canada, UK, all this kind of thing. So we'll either build out your entire team and house them within our facility, or a single person as your needs require. We'll manage them. We'll make sure they show up to work on time. We'll hit the KPIs. We'll guarantee the results and the outcome, because we're there and we want to have a piece of the pie with you. We want to make sure that like we're as invested in your person working out as you are. I think that's the only way to really create long-term clients. But what I really want to do is I really want to focus in on roles and teams that are building the next wave of technology, which is AI. And so I really want to help. I really want to like gather as much fantastic talent in Pakistan as I can, pay them extremely well to help companies in San Francisco, in Tech Valley, in the tech valleys in Canada and the US to build out these softwares, because this will, one, it will provide more income to people within Pakistan, and two, these roles are much more long term. So you're not have to find a job every 6 to 12 months, right? These are 1, 2, 3 year contracts. So I would really love to see the tech scene in Pakistan keep expanding, the talent within AI, machine learning keep expanding, and then connect that talent to US and Canada by providing like the trust barrier that kind of is missing sometimes when you're working with two foreign nations. So because I've been to Pakistan and I have a partner there, and because I know Canada, the West, and the US, I can basically vouch for them. And also it helps prevent, sometimes you hear about scams or things like that. Happens everywhere, not just in Pakistan or India. It happens in Canada, it happens in US all the time. But because we're kind of putting where our money where our mouth is, and we're incorporated in Canada as well, so we're ultimately responsible for the results. So companies can always come to us. We have a location. They know where we're at. They know we're real. So that really helps build like some trust and security within the market as well.
Okay, awesome, Paul. Paul, thank you so much for your time. Where can people find you or your company if they want to look you up?
Yeah, our website is talenttrellis.co. It's currently under construction. We're rebuilding it. That's talenttrellis.co. And they can also add me on LinkedIn at Paul Drake Verge or Paul Verge, and they can find me there. They can send me a DM. Right now, I'm getting a ton of DMs right now from Pakistanis. So I'm trying to answer as many of them as I possibly can, but it's become hard because I have to also do my job as well. But yeah, just connect with me there or send me an email, paul@talenttrellis.co. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Paul, and thanks for doing your business out in Pakistan. This is Amir Anzor from Pakistan Software Export Board, where we run Tech Destination Pakistan. And thanks for your time.
Of course. Have a great day.
Cheers.